The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello, and welcome to the Big H Podcast. My name is Mike Heise, and with me today is Katie Progno, founder of No Lemons Equine. Katie, it is great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
For those of you that aren't aware of No Lemons, it's a nonprofit adaptive horseback riding program that primarily uses retired racehorses as partners. Katie, just starting off, when did your interest in horseback and horseback riding come about?
So I've always loved horses ever since I was little. I began horseback riding at 5 years old, actually right up the road at Alexander's Equine. And it was so much fun. So I've always had a love for horses. I began working on farms locally, and I wound up working on a farm that raises thoroughbreds. That began my journey on working with thoroughbreds at the racetrack and on the farm and with breeding and riding. And it was just a wonderful opportunity to have. So that's kind of where it started.
In terms of where it started, talk a little bit about what you do during your daytime.
Well,
this is like before you get to the farm.
Before I get to the farm, and like during my day.
Your day job at.
Oh, my day job. Okay,
Gates
so
Child.
I am a speech pathologist at Gates Child High School District right now. I spent 13 years at Penfield School District and left to kind of be closer to home in the farm in this program. I absolutely love my time so far at Gates. It's a wonderful job. That being said, pairing that with the farm, I get up very early in the morning. So usually about 4 a.m., get all my chores done before work, get my own kids ready, and then go to work. I absolutely love being a speech pathologist. I love advocating for people's communication needs, advocating in the education setting, being really helpful for kids that need that. I think it's super important to give independence to people that may have language needs. And I just love pairing this job with adaptive riding. I think it's wonderful. And I've always wanted to combine the two kind of loves of my career.
Are speech pathologists and therapists the same thing, or do they, do different functions?
They're the same. Most people call us speech teachers, speech therapists, but officially we're speech language pathologists. So it's diagnosing people with communication needs and being able to make goals for people to improve their communication in all different settings. Education-wise, obviously we want to give kids access to the same academics that every other kid gets. But we can also work on, functional communication outside of the school. I've worked in postgraduate programs where we're taking students out into the community and kind of helping them with work skills and just community skills, going to Wegmans, going to different community functions and helping them communicate their way in those areas as well.
Now, going back, let's say, to your early education, where did you attend elementary school?
I went to Burnaby, right in Spencerport.
Okay.
My maiden name's Carpenter, so my brothers and I all went through Burnaby and then, Cosgrove and Spencerport High School. I graduated in 2002. So I guess that's dating me, but yeah, we love Spencerport. I still live here. I live right on the farm. It's a great community, lots of supportive members. I love the small village. I'm being a part of this community. So I married into that family that I worked for all those years, and my husband and his brothers own Spencerport Bull. My sister-in-law owns Splits Ice Cream. So it's just great to have small business on your side when you want to do fundraising and events too. There's a ton of support in this community. It's wonderful.
Going back to your schooling at Spencerport, any influential people or teachers that you had or ran across along the way?
I'd have to say, I'm not going to remember her name, but my middle school environmental science club teacher, she was the best. She was so motivational and so sweet to us. I think she's taught English in middle school, but she was just wonderful. But yeah, that was my, one teacher that I had a connection with that really helped me realize that, you have potential to do things and start things and be a part of the community.
How about your mom and dad?
Mom and dad always supported me throughout my whole life specifically with horses and sports. They were a huge influence, on my, goals for the future. They really helped support me with college and just finding an area that I was interested in and would give me summers and, time off to really focus on horses. So in thinking about my own future, they really helped guide me to find a career teaching, where we could have that time to still spend with the things you enjoy doing too. My father was always super influential. His experience, he went to school to be an adaptive PE teacher. He wound up working for Kodak his whole life, but right. Best laid plans, I guess. So I think his love for helping people and really advocating for those who might need a little more advocacy in the community really rubbed off on me. Mm-hmm. So it's just really great to have that background, and such a supportive family.
What's your mom do or did?
My mom is a nurse. She worked at Strong Memorial Hospital for years, retired from Strong. She also was a school nurse at McQuaid for a while too. She is the hardest worker I know. Mm-hmm. I've always worked several jobs to help support us kids. And I think my work ethic really came from both my parents. They both worked hard.
Now, in high school, did you talk about the sports or the hobbies that you did?
In high school, I ran cross country and I was on the Spencerport swim team. So I did pretty much 2 sports all year round. I think all the coaches and people I had in Spencerport were super awesome. I think I had a coach Winepress who helped me. And I think I'll never forget, she called my parents one day and said, Katie worked really hard this practice. It's just nice to have a coach that calls and gives positive influence. So I try to mirror that from my high school experience and just make sure to build up positive reinforcement for people all the time. I think it's super important. It made an impact on me, and in school, especially, mm-hmm. being super positive and praising your students is motivational. So that stuck with me.
So you're in high school and you're starting to think about your future. What led you to speech pathology?
I think every kid at 18 isn't sure what they want to do, mm-hmm. right? So
good point.
I think my parents really helped guide me towards a career, like I said earlier, just that would give me some summers off so I could really hone in on my love of horses and, farm work. So they were like, you're great with people. Let's look at elementary education. So that's what I originally went into, realized I didn't want to do a whole classroom mm-hmm. of kids, just wasn't for me. So I kind of honed in on some therapies, looked at OT, PT, and speech, and wound up with speech therapy as my major. And loved it. And now here I am in classrooms teaching, which is great. I love it. So it worked out really well.
So I'm in education as well. And you were at Penfield for many years and now you're at Gates. What's your normal caseload for the amount of students that you service?
It's around 30 to 40 kids. So it's doable. And mm-hmm. We make it work.
Do you do a lot of push-in work to the classroom or do you do pull-out or mixture of both?
There's a mixture of both. So some things you might not want to work on, in the classroom. It's more personal, specific speech sounds, fixing, mm-hmm. Your S sounds or R sounds. But when it comes to helping kids navigate through more language heavy or social language, it's good to be push-in to really help them in the moment, navigate those skills when they need it. So I'm a big proponent of pushing speech therapy and collaborating with special educators and gen ed teachers to really help support those skills in the moment. I think it's super helpful.
Talk about a success story you had with a student.
Oh boy, I could think of a few. I had one student in my past who he was on the spectrum and he's super bright, but just needed help
Can
in those
you,
social situations.
I'm sorry to interrupt, explain to our listeners what on the spectrum means.
It was a young man living with autism.
Okay. Go ahead.
And like I said, he was very, very bright, just needed help with social pragmatic language.
Mhm.
And so he helped navigate. I had him on my caseload from 6th grade all the way up to when he graduated. I still communicate with him today. He's just a wonderful young man. And I think we really helped as a team work with him through all the different social skills throughout his life as he matured that he, needed help navigating. And I think in the end, he was really appreciative of all the hard work we did as far as like social stories and communicating through things and helping him learn how to communicate through different life skills and even academic skills. He did a wonderful job, and I'll never forget him. So it's a student that I really think I think I did a good job.
You just have that feeling,
Yeah.
You don't have to go. Talk about your own immediate family, your husband and your children.
I have a 12-year-old son who's heavy into hockey. He does travel hockey, so that always throws a wrench into things.
Of course.
Hockey season. And then I also have a 3-year-old, very independent daughter who's starting preschool this fall. They're wonderful. My son supports me all the time. He is extremely mature for his age. He just helps me with everything, and I think that everyone that comes to the farm, he makes a point to go out and like introduce himself and talk to them. He's just wonderful. But yeah, that's a journey, helping him with homework and hockey and all that stuff. And then my daughter is just, she loves horses already. Will already ride. She's constantly moving, climbing on things. She's a cool kid. So, yeah. And my husband supports me all the time. He owns a small business too. A hard worker. He never stops. I think I'm really lucky to have that. And it's such a supportive, immediate family. My in-laws, they all support me. All my brother and sister-in-laws, they're very, very supportive.
So when did you graduate from Nazareth?
2010.
Okay. And then
my grad.
what was your, did you get a job right out of college or?
I did. My first teaching job was actually in Hornell. So I drove down to Hornell School District every day for my first year. Let me step back. That was after my undergrad degree. And then I took the year to get my master's degree. And then I worked for BOCES 1 for a little while. And then I got the Penfield job. So that's kind of where I've been.
Hornell, that is distance away. Like how far is that? Like 45, 50 minutes?
Yeah, it's about an hour every morning and afternoon.
How'd you pass the time? Just listen to music?
Pretty much.
Pretty much?
I wish there were podcasts at that time. But there weren't.
They didn't have the Big H podcast at that time, but now there's millions of them.
Yeah.
How did you get the name of No Lemons Equine?
So No Lemon was my old off-the-track racehorse. I had the pleasure of working at the track through undergraduate and grad school for actually my husband's cousin and uncle. So No Lemon was my favorite horse in the barn. I got to see him race many times. I walked him up for races, walked him back, cooled him out. He was just a wonderful, wonderful horse with a really nice personality. So when he retired, they gave him to me to be my riding horse. So I used him as a riding horse for many years. And he just gave me a ton of confidence and joy in my everyday. So the name came from him. His name was No Lemon as a racehorse.
Now you said the track. Which track did that horse participate in?
Finger Lakes Racetrack.
Okay.
My family still breeds, raises, and trains racehorses out at Finger Lakes. So it's one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. It was so much fun. I was just lucky to have that job through all my college years.
What's the difference between a racehorse and a riding horse?
Well, racehorses are bred and raised to run on the track. And then, it takes them some time to kind of cool off at the farm and calm down. But once they do, thoroughbreds are really super athletic. So they make great riding horses. So a lot of people use them for jumping and eventing, dressage. A lot of them are used for Western barrel racing, stuff like that. They're just versatile types of horses. So they're very nice. They make great riding horses after their racing careers. And that being said, I think there's a lot of advocacy out there for retired racehorses and finding them a second career, so they don't wind up across the border at meat auctions or whatever. So I think that having this program is really helpful, twofold. It helps people and it helps retired racehorses find a new career. So that was kind of my goal in the beginning, is let's use our retirees for something good, and that helps people in the community.
Going back to that, so you're talking about establishing your organization. Talk a little bit about that, and then when you started it, and maybe the challenges that you faced. But when did you know, like, this is kind of like what I was meant to do?
Well, I've always wanted to connect my love for helping people of all abilities with my love for thoroughbreds and retired racehorses. That's something, it was a goal since college. I honestly think my student teaching teacher gave me that idea. And really, that's when I really started to think, hey, we can build something between both of these. She was a speech pathologist at Penfield, and I think she had a niece who wanted to do like a therapeutic riding program. So that kind of like stuck in my head since then. So that was kind of my goal back then. And I finally, during the COVID, I started a nonprofit officially in February of 2021. I started with maybe 6 clients who came out. They'd ride outside in the winter with me. They were wonderful. And now we're up to over 60 and continue to grow. But that was something I always wanted to connect. Having horses help people. They're so impactful. Horses really mirror your emotions and your feelings, and they can regulate your heart rate. It's amazing what horses can do for people. So I've always wanted to connect, my love for helping people of all abilities with the retired racehorses. So that's kind of where I started. I had the farm. My in-laws generously let me use their farm for my program. And we had the horses because we have retired horses anyway. And, it's few and far between which thoroughbreds can really help with adaptive riding. It's a hard job, but the ones we do have are extremely special to us and our clients.
How do you determine or condition a racehorse to adaptive horseback riding?
It takes some training. I mean, they need to be desensitized. We use like a lot of different things to do that. So noodles, hula hoops, tarps, anything to make them like really be okay and trusting in those types of situations with lots of noises and props, things like that. So, I mean, the horses we do have, you can kind of sense that they're pretty chill when you get them. And then you just kind of test it out and hope for the best. Sometimes a horse might not work out, but we've been pretty lucky with our horses. I think my sister-in-law's got a really great eye for for really great horses, so she's been able to help us find some nice ones. And we use some of our retirees. I've got an old broodmare that she's just wonderful. She's so calm and relaxed, and and then I've got an ex-racehorse that we found at the track and tried to race him, and it wasn't for him, so we retired him, and he's just a fan favorite. Everyone loves him. His name's Moose.
I think I've seen him on your Facebook page.
He's all over, yeah.
Some of the listeners or the viewers might not understand like some of the disabilities of the children that you work with. What's the age bracket, and then maybe explain a little bit about the challenges that these clients face.
So we've got a long list of different people living with different disabilities. I have kids aging at 3 all the way up to, adults in their 40s currently riding. A lot of these people have a multitude of, they're living with different disabilities. So I've got kids with Down syndrome, a number of kids that are living on the autism spectrum. I've got some kids with ADHD, a lot of anxiety. We have at-risk youth. Currently, my new instructor wants to do an at-risk youth program So we're trying to kind of figure out how to navigate that right now. And then I've got people with cerebral palsy. And I think riding a horse, especially when you have a physical disability, it enables you to use every muscle in your body, right? So your core, your legs, your arms, your balance. So I think it's really helpful for people living with physical disabilities too, to really be able to work all the areas of their body and muscles. So it's just really helpful. I mean, it helps with independence, confidence, following directions, like any of those skills that we see in schools, that kids need help with. I think it just gives, in the end, it gives kids a huge sense of confidence. So if you're having anxiety, being a partner with that horse really helps you, feel some confidence in your skills. So I think it's helpful in all areas.
And I was reading on your Facebook page that you have several camps this summer. Talk about a little bit about a camp and what goes through like a day. I think I saw like they usually run 9 to 2 o'clock. Talk a little bit about a day in the camp.
So I can tell you like the background of the camp. So when I was at Penfield, I was an advisor for Best Buddies. Are you familiar with Best Buddies?
Yes.
So Best Buddies, like a unified experience for kids. So we know we have unified basketball at Hilton. We also had that at Penfield. It's at Gates Charlie too. It's just a wonderful experience that pairs a student who might be living with a disability with a traditional student or an athlete, and they get to play those sports together, whether it's like cheerleading or basketball. I think there's a multitude of other ones. I loved that experience for kids. It gives kids a time to connect and helps with social skills and really gives them time to shine. So when I saw that at schools, I'm like, I'm going to do this with horses someday. So I started the unified camps last summer. I was so lucky to get funding from Golisano for those. So that's exactly it. You pair a kid up who's a traditional rider with a kid that's doing adaptive riding, and they work together all week, whether it's chores or crafts or riding or care of the horse, horsemanship skills. They're buddied up. So that in the end, in the last day, I usually do a little display of a drill team where they're doing something with their buddy. And I just think it gives a great opportunity for connections, especially in our community. And talking about inclusivity, it's an inclusive experience. So last summer it was a little shorter. It was only 3 days. This year we made it 5 days, 9 to 2. So the kids usually get there. We talk about what we're going to do for our day, and then we split. So like they'll go with their buddies. Someone will get a riding lesson. The other buddies will do chores or do horsemanship, or games or crafts or whatever we have for that day. And then we switch, and we also do little trail rides. So it's just a really inclusive, great experience for kids. And I've gotten great feedback. I think we're doing okay.
Right.
So we've got 2 more of those this summer. We've got one next week, and then one towards the end of August. I also try to schedule them around summer school so that kids who may be in summer school programs can still attend at least one, if that's an option for them. So yeah, it's been great. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to build that. I would like all my lessons to be unified someday, but it's people get busy and it's hard to schedule, but that's one of my goals. Speaking of unified, where I'm also a Special Olympics coach in the Genesee region. And they currently have a unified drill team section for all the shows. Last year was my first year coaching. So we did a unified drill team for my own regional show, but we weren't able to connect with other regions for that show in the end. This year, we're hoping to either travel to another team's barn for their regional show, and hopefully we can do a display of unified Special Olympics, section for each of their shows. Hopefully we'll get a state spot this year. We didn't get any last year, but it would be great to be able to do that. So that's kind of my next goal too with Special Olympics, is to really not only do everyone do their individual, whether it's hunter jumper, a Western event or a dressage event, but also have that unified drill team piece too.
Getting back to your camp, talk a little bit about your volunteers that you have.
Oh, I can't say enough how appreciative I am of my volunteers. this most recent camp it was my largest one, I think, this summer. And so I really rely on these wonderful volunteers I have. My niece comes with her crew of friends, and they are all, this year, they're seniors in high school, all heading off to college. So I'm kind of sad about that.
Uh-huh.
But they're all wonderful human beings. They connect with people. They take the time to come out and really connect with the kids. I don't know. I couldn't run this without them. There's so many great people in the community that want to volunteer too. Parents and grandparents and kids, horse kids that love horses.
Mm-hmm.
I have younger girls that are coming now to help volunteer with just lessons, because we always need help with like sidewalking or leading the horse during our lessons sometimes. So I'm very lucky to have a podcast or ways to get our name out there just to get more volunteers and help. Yeah, we have wonderful, wonderful people to help us. And, kids that drop everything just to come in, they don't have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and they love doing it. So I think we're very lucky to have people like that.
I think I also saw a picture. You guys participated in the Spencerport Parade this year?
We did. Yep. It was a learning experience.
Yeah. Explain, what did you mean by a learning experience?
So it was our first year in a parade with our horses, and you never know, they're animals.
They're animals, yeah.
You never know how they're going to react. So our main, so we also have quarter horses, a couple different breeds, because thoroughbreds are big, and sometimes you need a smaller horse for some of your riders. So I do have a trusty old quarter horse. Her name is Tia. She's 28 years old.
Wow.
She's done the barrel racing, reining, all sorts of stuff. She's a solid horse. I can put any kid on her. She's a hard worker. She'll do whatever's asked of her. She'll spook. She's awesome. So she was solid in the parade. Did the whole thing, wasn't even phased. But a couple of our new horses were a little nervous, specifically one. And it's funny because that particular horse has done 17 parades. So we were a little surprised. But, it was a learning experience. Everyone was so nice. Like I said, the Spencerport community is awesome. They were like, oh, is she okay? Like, we know she was just spooky. So we left at the turn with those two.
That's all right.
But our old trusty Tia made it through the whole thing. Like, was awesome. So yeah, now we'll know next year which horses can do it and which won't. We'll be a little nervous. So
no, it's good to get your name out. And pride in your program. You said the one horse is 28 years old. Mm-hmm. What's the normal lifespan of a horse? Now I assume it depends on the breed. I don't know.
Yeah, usually around 30.
Mm-hmm.
Thoroughbreds don't always make it that long. They have a lot of old injuries that pop up in the later years too. So just from racing, but for the most part, Tia is one of our old ones. Belle is another one. She is up. We think she's around 32, and they're both in great shape, though. You'd never know they were that old. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Now, in terms of your farm, how much money does it cost to run a farm throughout the year in terms of feed and all that?
Oh boy.
Ballpark estimate.
So just feed during the week is around $300 to cover all the horses. So that's feed, hay, and sawdust for the stalls or shavings, bedding. So yeah, it's costly. It is. And we use all of our funds that we make with adaptive lessons and unified camps to cover the cost of horses. You have the chiropractor just came out, that was $400. So she's once a year. The dentist comes out, that's over $1,000, but yearly. We have farrier who puts their shoes on. He comes out every 8 weeks and it's around $500 each time. So, horses are expensive, but to me, volunteering all my time for all the lessons, I think it's so worth it. Cause when you see the connection that these people make with horses and the good that they do, I don't mind volunteering all that time. And to me, it's always what I've wanted to do. And it's luckily I can still work, during the school year and make it work somehow. And, I think that, having these wonderful families that continue to stick with us, even when we have to move for the winter or whatever, we're very lucky.
Now, talking about the property that the farm's on, how expansive is that property?
So it's my in-laws' farm. It's 27 acres. Right now we have about 80 by 100 foot arena. It's outdoor. And then our barn is very small and old, but it has 7 stalls right now. 2 of them are kind of makeshift for what we need. But we make it work. It's very homey. It's not fancy.
Mhm.
And I think people are appreciative of that. In the beginning, when I began, I was kind of like, oh, people are going to think this isn't like a good setup. And I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from everybody. And, they love the small homey feel and they love coming there. And they said it's so peaceful. So people don't really see, the weeds that are growing out there or
Mhm.
whatever when they're there. They're there for the experience and the horses. And I think I've learned throughout my, the few years I've been doing it that that's more important than aesthetics right now.
Mhm.
But we'd really love to build a new barn to have more horses and more room so that we can continue to build. And we really do need the indoor arena to help continue those lessons year round and not have to move for the winter. And we rent out barns right now. So we were in Brockport last winter. Before that, we were in Chilai. Um, but yeah, people still come, but we'd love to have it on our own farm.
So when, God willing, with the fundraising, when would you like to start the construction on a new barn?
It would be nice to start, next year. I was thinking like springtime, whenever
Mhm.
we could start. Um, Luckily, my family is very, very supportive, and we have a lot of equipment and things to kind of help do that, and people to volunteer their time and labor. So, I got a couple of different quotes for the barn that we'd like. To do the full barn, it was like $500,000, but to get just the structure up, it was around 200,000.
Mhm.
So if we could start with that structure and kind of work on the stalls and the interior stuff a little bit as we go, I think that we'd have a great start um, in building that year-round facility.
And I've read that you've been doing some fundraising, and talk a little bit about the fundraising and then the GoFundMe page that was established by.
So Deb Grotke, who's a grandma who
Mhm.
brings her granddaughter to the farm and rides, started a GoFundMe for us. She's very passionate about our program. She thinks it's extremely helpful, especially for her granddaughter. She just sees a lot of potential and really appreciates what we do for her granddaughter. So that to help us continue to build, she started that. And we just had a fundraiser at Spenceport Bowl and Splits Ice Cream. We brought one of the horses over for some rides, and then had some games for kids and glow sticks and fun stuff like that, music, and it was a really successful event. Actually, we made quite a bit of money that night, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the parents that helped out. Their kids are in our program, and they all showed up and stepped up and helped out with fundraising and really getting the GoFundMe out. And scannable codes and selling things. So it was really, really fun event. So we're hoping to do some farm open houses. So like maybe on a Sunday afternoon for a couple hours, we'll have like games and some rides and some horse rides and
Mhm.
some horse activities to really get more of a, welcome environment and more people out. So we're hoping to do those the rest of the summer. So we keep an eye on Facebook.
That's what I was going to say. Where do people follow you?
Most of Facebook and Instagram.
Mhm.
I have a website too. And then of course we have a phone number if anyone wants to text or call.
Mhm.
Most of my new participants reach me through Facebook Messenger. We do have a form on the website that can be filled out, goes right to my email for new people who are interested in participating or want to come for a visit or a meet and greet.
Mhm.
So we try to schedule those. Summer's the time because I'm off.
Right. Right.
When school starts up, it's a little harder. But yeah, right now we just started Special Olympics for the fall season, so that runs from July to October. So we're a little busy right now,
Mhm.
but luckily I have a new instructor and I'm there all summer, so we can make time to meet new people.
How does GoFundMe work? Like, do you just go into the site? Like, I'm new to that.
There's there's a scannable code you can scan with your phone, or there's like a link on the actual GoFundMe ad. It's posted on Facebook. And when you click on that, it just takes you right to that GoFundMe page. I think it's run by PayPal. So if you have a PayPal account, it just goes directly in from your account. And then PayPal automatically sends a receipt. It's a tax write-off,
Mhm.
a donation receipt for you or for whomever wants to donate. So it's actually really nice because I don't have to write all the receipts all the time. It takes its time consuming, and I want to make sure people can use that when it comes to tax time.
Now, off camera, we were talking about a nonprofit and how that makes you eligible for grants and whatnot. Are you in the process of applying for grants, or how's that process going?
Constantly looking at grants, trying to apply to grants. And it's one of the things that I needed to really hire someone else to help with lessons for, because it is extremely time consuming going through different types of grants. I mean, there are local grants, there are federal grants, there are state level grants, just people in our community. There's great grants. We've gotten grants from Golisano, Rochester Community Foundation, Wegmans always donates for our camps and things. So there's a lot of great community members locally that are helpful and always willing to help. But there are also a lot of federal level grants and then just private corporation grants. So there's a ton of opportunity. It's just taking the time to sit down on the computer and get through all of it. And then keeping track of the dates, they all pop up. So I'm learning as I go. But yeah, it's huge to have an extra instructor to really make more time for that admin end of things. So, yeah.
Now, you mentioned Wegmans. When the kids come to camp, do they bring their own lunch, or do you provide them with? So
they bring their own lunch, but we have snacks and drinks, courtesy of Wegmans, all day long. So we have water, Gatorade, like apples, oranges, whatever they want, like granola bars. But yes, we do have snacks and things for them all day because, the first camp, it was really hot. So we went through a ton of waters and, Gatorades. But yeah, we couldn't do that without them, their generosity and Golisano's generosity. It's just in order to build like obstacles and things like that. Golisano helped with that last year. We're hoping to get another grant this year. I'm waiting to hear. But yes, just those community members are so helpful. But yes, the last day I always buy pizza for
Right.
I don't know. Perk.
On a particular camp day, how many campers do you have?
This past one we had 7. So that's 7 campers, and then we had all of our buddies. So those volunteers that I was speaking about earlier, the wonderful horse women and men around our community that help out, they are paired up with our campers, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. So
I read on Facebook, and I'm just going to read this. Last day of camp is always bittersweet. I am so proud of all my campers. They showed grace, patience, independence, growth, flexibility, work ethic, empathy, kindness, and confidence with each other and with our wonderful horses. I am beyond amazed at these individuals every time I work with them. I am truly blessed and so very lucky to be a part of their lives. Thank you for sharing your family with No Lemons. Thank you to all our helpers and friends for lending a hand. We could not rock this without you. Until next time. Did you write that?
I did.
From the heart.
It is. I'm going to get serious.
Well, as you, that's the thing. I think that's what life's all about. That's why you teach. I think that's why No Lemons Equine was brought for you to run it.
Yeah, to help people. I think, I think it's always been instilled in me from when I was little. Just my parents were always helping people. My brothers were the same way. I'll drop anything for you. It's just something I've always grown to do. You go to grandma's, you pick up sticks. It's just what you do. And I think seeing the smiles and seeing the wonderful times and connections and memories that are made with camps and just lessons in general, are just great. They're just wonderful. I want people to have those experiences. When I was little, I still remember my camps that I went to and all the horses I rode and my favorites, So I think making those memories is huge, and giving kids confidence is so great, especially in times like these, when it's so easy to be downtrodden. Like, let's do something to lift everyone up.
Well, Katie Progno, I don't think I could say anything that you didn't write in that paragraph to end this podcast with, but is there any other message you'd like to pass along?
Just check out our website, check out our Facebook. If you know anyone that's interested in volunteering or helping with events, reach out, or anyone who's interested in adaptive riding, let's go.
Go to the GoFundMe page, see what you can contribute. Anything would be helpful. Katie, it's been great having you on this podcast. we'll check up on you in the future to see how you're doing. But thank you very much for being
Thank
on.
you, Mike.
Okay.
Love it.
And this has been Mike Heise on the Big H Podcast. Stay tuned in the future.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.